I'm basically a complete beginner when it comes to painting with watercolor. So, this is my first time trying to paint a house, at least since like kindergarten. And I will also try to add some nature into the painting. My personal inspiration for this artwork is actually Greece, one of my favorite countries. I'm not sure if anyone else will be able to tell that this is based on Greece, but that is what this artwork will symbolize for me. So I have heard about this wet on wet technique. I will apply that here. I'm wetting the paper and I'm using a lot of water to create a very thin green layer for the greenery, for the leaves in the tree. I'm not just using any green, I'm using emerald green. Huge difference. I will not paint on top of this layer until it has dried, because if I start to paint on top of it right now, it will just float out and smudge and blend in very unpleasant ways. Since the Greek colors are white and blue, I'm using a lot of blue here for the house. The frame of the windows will be blue, the doors will be blue, and the shading from the tree on top of the house will also be blue. Lots of blue. And I know this might sound shocking, but the trees will be brown. It's a very bold choice for a tree, I know. The window panes inside the window frame will also be brown. Also, I added a lot of pots with flowers inside them all over the painting. The flowers were just green and the pots were orange. I will try to find the exact color. Yellow ochre, I think the color was called. So yeah, the pots were yellow ochre. But now that the foliage has dried, I'm adding more layers of green. This time I think it's called olive green that I'm mixing in here to create some dynamic in the leaves. Apparently my green color was called sap green, not olive green. My mistake. So I need to let this sap green dry. I'm also using more pigment and less water. But we also need some more color. But do you know what this foliage is missing? Pink flowers. So now I'm adding some pink into this. I realized that my house was just way too white. I know that was the point, but now looking at the result, I feel like it's missing a lot of color. So I will be adding way more shading. And like I said, my shading is blue, so I am adding a lot more blue on top of the house. Also, like the outlines of my house were almost non-existent, so I needed to add something to contrast where the house starts. So I added some blue lines, more blue. And I think we are done. And this is the final result. In my opinion, it ended up looking way more blue than I expected. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. With that being said, I am quite happy with how the colors turned out. The combination of greens and blue does feel very peaceful and harmonious to me. The house itself does look kind of wonky in my opinion. It doesn't look very realistic in some places. Like the perspectives are off and it's hard to tell the distance between some objects and so on, but I guess that's all part of the learning. Hopefully I will get better at this stuff when I just keep practicing and keep learning. Overall, this was a very fun piece to work with and to create. I'm excited to keep learning about watercolor and I'm excited to keep getting better. Thank you for watching.